If you like this video, don't forget to subscribe, like, share, and comment.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to class 2 of the Big John or the John and Duffel bag class. I'm doing the Big John in this class, as you know, but there are 3 sizes. Today, we are going to start working on the exterior. We're going to start with the crossbody strap because we got a really cool feature where we have a padded strap for that crossbody strap, which is really good, especially if you're making a Big John duffel because it gets heavy. My son loves it, so it's something new to show on this. I also showed it in my tutorial when I made this tutorial many moons ago. And just a reminder that this is July of 2024. The Thursday classes, Tuesday classes. Which one are we doing which? No, it's Tuesday classes. Oh my goodness. So what was I going to say? I totally lost my train of thought. It's so weird not having you guys here with me. It's my vacation month. That's what I'm trying to say. So I am off work by noon every day. I'm taking a break from doing live classes like I do every July and December. And of course, is teachers' choice for the bags that we do in these months. So I've chosen to do the John Duffel because my son needs a new bag. And as I showed you the last class, he loves his John Duffel. So we're just doing it in different colors. So yeah, so have all your exterior pieces ready. We're going to get the exterior, hopefully most of it done. Some of it will be homework. I'll be showing you one thing like the side pocket, and then you'll like do the other side pocket for homework and what have you. Believe it or not, this bag comes together really fast. Also a reminder, I cannot give out seam allowances or measurements. This is a new thing that YouTubers cannot do. It's in respect for the designers and how we have so many people out there that are stealing designs and stuff because for some reason they're smart. They can see a shape of something and figure it out, I guess, from the measurements. So you do have to have the pattern to understand what I'm talking about when it comes to seam allowances and measurements and following along. And also, depending what size you're making, make sure you're following the pattern and doing the measurements as per the size of duffel you are making. Again, I am making the biggest one for this. Another reminder, if you are seeing this, no matter when you are, make sure you put down in the comments so I know that you're taking this class. Let me know if you're making this bag. I really hope you do. Duffels are great gifts to give. Everybody can use them for the gym or for school or just for everyday use, especially some of those guys in your life. I tell you, I make these for all the guys in my life and they love them. It's a great unisex bag. I'm also trying something new, so let me know what you think of the new views. So I have changed my camera views. I think you'll be able to see more. You can see I have this little fuzzy thing. It is not a pet. I'm trying a different microphone to try to get evener sound. So the microphone goes with me from here to the machine. So hopefully that'll keep the sound more consistent rather than switching from like the webcam microphone to the other microphone. So once again, all you members are my guinea pigs. So please let me know what you think of the sound and of the views and help me learn and grow and get better. Okay, so first off, let's grab out our crossbody strap. Again, I am using a webbing for mine. I'm using seatbelt webbing for mine. Yeah, and so you want to grab out that as well as your pieces for making the padded shoulder thing. I'm going to get the cameras all switched around and then we will get started. All right, so I have all of my strap slider pieces here. I have my strap slider main, my 2 strap slider holders, my strap slider center, and my strap slider side. We're going to start with the strap slider holders. Man, that's hard to say. Okay, so what we want to do with these is we want to flip them wrong side up. And if you're using cotton, this works too. We're going to fold it in half. We're going to do a really nice finger press like so. So it creates that center line. You could also draw a center line if you wanted to. So bring your short ends together and do that. Open it up again, and then you're going to fold these short sides into that center line like so on both sides. And on page 3 of the main pattern, step 1, it'll tell you what this little square should measure, and mine does. I'm going to hold some clips here. And then we're going to do 2 lines of top stitching. So again, if you look at step 1, construct the crossbody strap, we're going to do them at those measurements. So a shorter one here and then a longer one on the inside. We're going to do the same with this one. And then we'll take these to the machine and we will top stitch them as per the top stitching measurements on page 3, step 1. Okay, so let's head on over to the machine and do that. All right, so again, this is a new view, so let me know what you think about it. I think it's good. I used to use this view back in the day when I didn't have as many cameras, but re-watching my Big John video from years ago, I found that this way you can see everything. So let me know what you think of this view and if it's a keeper. I'm going to try her out for a little while, I think. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to kind of chain stitch these. So we're going to do that first row of top stitching as per the pattern allowance. Make sure back stitch. This is the first row. I'm going to check my, oh, I just oiled my machine, so I apologize for the oiliness, but it was spa day for my machines today. And I'm just going to chain stitch these all with that first seam allowance that we're doing, and then we will go back and we will do the larger one as well. That's one side. Let's hop over to the other side. Man, oh man, that's oily. That's okay. It means she's running well. Let me know if the sound is good with this lapel mic as well for this side. I think it should keep the sound pretty even. With no high-pitched sounds like we seem to have when I have all of the microphones running at the same time. Okay, and then I'm going to go in with that larger seam allowance that it says in the pattern on that first page. And the other side as well. Oops. There we go. I really wanted to use green thread on this one. I have a perfect green thread for it, but Riley wanted brown, so we're going brown. Okay, and then you can cut those apart. Okay. Back to the table. Okay, so that's what that looks like, minus all the oil. Next, we're going to take our strap slider center. And this is now, we are looking at step 2 on page 3. We want to measure down and draw a line as per the measurement in the pattern from the top and the bottom of this. I can't give these measurements out, so make sure you check out what they are. Oopsies. Okay, we're also going to need these. So she does this in multiple steps. We're going to kind of do them all in one shebang. So we're going to take this. So we got a raw edge here, raw edge here. You got to put it right at that line. I'm going to secure that with clips. Like so. You know me, I like to try to make things as fast as they possibly can for us. Let me see if I can do better with lighting here. 1 second. I don't know if that was better. Nope. Okay. Here we go. Okay. I feel like I need more light at this table. Let me know if it's bright enough. I don't know. I'm going to take the other one, and from that line where we did the bottom, I'm going to line it up like so and clip it in place. This one doesn't look super straight. Let me straighten this one out. There we go. Okay, now you can take these to the machine and baste them in place. I want to save time, so I'm just going to add our strap slider sides. into these clips. So what we want to do is bring them right sides together along that straight edge and add it into those clips, making sure nothing moves. All the way down. And same with the opposite side. They shouldn't get in the way when we do their seams here. It should be fine. Okay, and then we're going to go ahead and we are going to sew down these sides, making sure, of course, we're not catching these, but they're far enough away. We should be fine. What is our seam allowance? Let me double check. So our seam allowance, I should have looked before. Let me double check. Where does it say our seam allowance? Okay, you'll find what our seam allowance is on page 2 under information. And we're going to go ahead and sew along those, and then we're going to end up pulling these back, and we're going to top stitch right through the side panels as well. Dexter's sleeping right at my feet. Okay. So again, I cannot give seam allowances, so make sure you double check the seam allowance on the page I said earlier. Side done. Okay, and this is where I said we are going to go ahead and we are going to press it so the seam is going towards the side panel, like so, and we're going to top stitch through the side panel. Okay, so that is what that looks like. Now you want to make sure that your seam allowances are quite accurate. You'll know if they're right because you'll take your strapping and you'll see it should slide through there quite easily. All the way through. I've got to feed it through like so. So mine is good. Next, what we want to do is we want to take our strap slider main piece. On the back side of this, we are going to leave an opening for turning. So we're going to leave that open from there to there. We're going to take these and put them right sides together and clip them around. Now, for some reason, mine is bigger. Why? Did I cut them wrong? That's okay. All I'm going to do is fold this in half. I don't know if I cut it wrong or what, but this one has ended up being smaller than this one, unless it's supposed to be. Oh no, it's supposed to have a little bit of give. So this one may be a little bit bigger. That is okay. What we want to do is still clip it around. And I think it's because we're making room for foam. So clip one side first. It'd be easier to have this side up. Okay, so lay one side nice and flush with the raw edges, because we are going to be putting 2 layers of foam in here. So I think we're making it just a little bit bigger on this outside. So then you're going to bring these raw edges together like so, and you can see it kind of creates a very, very slight kind of oomph oomph. I don't know what that's called, so let's call it an oomph oomph. Just match up all those raw edges. They should match up good. Oh yeah, they do. Look at that. Perfection. Here, bring those raw edges together. This one, my shape is just a little off. I'm just going to fix it. There we go. Bring those raw edges together, and it should all fit together perfect. If it doesn't, not a big deal. Just trim off any excess you may have. But you'll see, I don't know if you can tell, see how it kind of goes whoop on one side? That's kind of what we want, because that's making room for when we insert the foam into here. And that foam gives the shoulder pad some padding. But yeah, it all fit together perfect. We have our turning gap in the bottom. I did mine a little bit bigger just because I think it's easier to turn vinyl through a slightly large one. So you can kind of see here, see how it rocks? That's because it's kind of going like this, which is what we want. Let me see. And now we're going to stitch from opening from here. Make sure you backstitch well all the way around to the other side, leaving that center gap open for turning this around. Make sure it's the same seam allowance. Yeah, same seam allowance, the main seam allowance of the pattern. All right. So let's start at one of the notches. Actually, I'm going to just transfer. This is the easier side to sew on. So from one of the notches, make sure you backstitch well. Take your corners nice and slow to get a good shape. I always like to hand crank my corners just because then I know I get I have more control, especially with how fast my machine goes. Oh, sorry, there goes a motorcycle down the street. I'm not sure if you guys can hear that. I'm curious on the replay to see if this microphone takes away that outside sound. It'd be great if it did. Around the other side. So the last time I made Riley one of these, I ended up getting a ton of orders from all the care aides and nurses at his retirement home. So that could happen again. This is a really, really great bag for healthcare workers too. So they all loved it. Riley's a good model for these for sure. Into the next notch and backstitch well. All right. All right, now things look brighter. The sun must be out now. Okay, so this is what we got. We got this opening in this one side. What we want to do is we want to trim down the seam allowance, but not where this opening is. So you're going to leave about that much on each side of the opening without trimming it down, and trim the rest down with your pinking shears. Don't have pinking shears, you can do straight scissors on the edges and then do little notches around the corners. Careful not to cut your seam or your stitching. Thank you again, Cynthia, for giving me these pinking shears. That was such a sweet thing and a nice unexpected surprise in the mail that day. So much better than my old ones. And around that corner, but again, not all the way to the edge. Like so, and go ahead and turn this right side out. Again, mine will take a moment just because it is vinyl. Because I like to torture myself for that reason. So I left a little bit bigger of an opening than what the pattern said, but oh, goodness me. It's worth it. So I tell myself it's worth it doing it in vinyl. Okay, there we go. Come on. It's one side there. It's pieces like this you can tell it was written for cotton. But I am a vinyl girl. There we go. Okay, so I'm just going to grab pokey thingy so I can poke out all of these corners good. My pokey thingy has seen better days. Look at that. She's looking tired. I want to find one like what Jess Oakleroots has. She's got that wonderful turning tool. I should find out what she has. If anybody knows, please do put it in the comments because I want one. She's got like a metal one. So you want to make sure that you poke out all those seams are really good and crisp because you are going to see them. And I wish I had longer fingers. Poke them all out. There we go. She looks so good. Perfect. Okay, so now you can kind of turn these edges down. We're not going to seal them yet, but give them a really good finger press there for after the next step. So make sure you roll all your seams out good, and this is what it looks like so far. Okay, so now what we want to do is you want to grab some foam. This is great for scrap foam, and we're going to use this as a template for cutting out our foam pieces. So we do want 2 of these. Now, if you're using a rotary cutter like me, make sure you do not cut your vinyl. You just want to kind of cut out a similar shape. Don't cut your vinyl, Brandy. Be careful. So I'm just going to use one template there, and then I'm actually going to use this foam. Should have changed my rotary blade. Man, oh man. Does it look like it's about the right size? A little bit too big, so I'm just going to take off a little bit off. Foam is better to be slightly small than too big. It looks like it's going to fit pretty good, so now I'll just use this foam to cut my other one. And this is what's going to give that strap the cushioning so it doesn't dig into it's the bag's owner's shoulder when they're carrying it. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to take this foam and we got to feed it into here. And you also want to push the foam kind of underneath these seam allowances. So I'm going to do one at a time. Take your time, get it in there and get it laying nice and flat, and then throw in the other one as well. It actually goes in really easy. It's not too bad at all. Well, so far anyways. This out of the way. Another reason to leave a little bit of a larger opening, because you can kind of see what you're doing then, and it's easier to feed it up. Right up into those corners. And you want to kind of put it, see this one, you want to kind of put it underneath the seam that is open like so. So it's going to be sitting, because we're going to have to catch that when we go to top stitch this, and that's going to hold that foam in place. So I got one in there nice and flat. Now we're going to do the same with the other one, but we're going to make sure that we tuck it underneath. Actually, it doesn't really matter which side you tuck it underneath. I'm going to try to get it underneath this seam allowance on this side. So we're going to put this on top. Slide her in. My son raves about this. Like, this would be so easy to put into any bag if somebody wanted a little more cushioning for their shoulder strap. But he says, yes, Mom, I do need one, because I thought maybe I wouldn't have to make him this part of it, but no, he needs it. He, well, as you guys saw, fills that bag like so full. So again, just kind of play with it, get it in there nice and flat. A little more awkward because we already got that other piece of foam in there, so you're kind of working in between them. Get in there. That's not flat. What are we doing in here? Okay, I see. If you find your foam is a little bit big, you can always trim it up a little bit more too. I think mine is right size. It's just a matter of getting it to lay where I want it to lay. And underneath this seam. How are we doing? Get in there. Okay, I think I got that side good. What are we doing over here? This side isn't as good. Okay, let's pull you over. Really nicely upon each other. Oh, I think I got it. I got it. Okay. So then you're going to kind of, and see, I have it kind of the foam under each one. I'm going to wrap that seam around each of the foam, things like that, and then bring that folded over edge together and clip that in place. And then we're going to top stitch this all the way around once again with 2 seam allowances. So if you look at step 5 on page 3, you'll see the 2 seam allowances that we're going to go around this. And you can see why. Look how thick that is. Like, it's really good. Really nice and cushiony. Okay. I'm actually going to go ahead and clip all the way around just so I know it's holding that foam in place well. You want to be catching that foam, and I can feel the foam all the way to the edges, which is exactly what we want. And then these 2 lines of top stitching is going to hold that in place. It's like a pillow, a vinyl pillow. I don't think I got it right into this corner, so I'm going to just quickly go in. Oh yeah, hold it under on me. I could tell by the clipping that it was thinner there, and I'm glad I stopped. There we go. Easy fix. Better. Okay, so now we can go ahead and we can top stitch that. Okay, so once again, check what your top stitch seam allowances are. And let's do this. I'm going to start with the side with the opening first, just so I know I've caught everything there. So I'm going to start just before that. Make sure you backstitch. All the way around. Check my tension. I can tighten it up a little bit, I think. Ooh, she gets puffy. All right, and then we're going to go around with that second row of top stitching as per the pattern. Just checking my tension, looks good. And this is decorative and functional because it's just securing that foam in there even more. Just in case you missed getting it right to the edges, the second row of top stitching is really going to catch that foam to make sure it doesn't start bundling up or anything in there. So again, this is something you can add to any crossbody strap. If you have a client or somebody who says it's digging into their shoulders, and it can be removable too. Actually, it looks good. All right. I'm just going to burn my stitches. Perfect. Okay. So this is what she looks. She looks like a pillow. So now what you're going to do, and this will be homework, is what I like to do first. I don't know. Make sure the slides in. You will turn your crossbody strap into a crossbody. Again, I have tutorials on how to do that because we will all be doing different ones as I'm using webbing or what have you. Go ahead and make your crossbody strap and slide this on. I find it easier to slide this on and then do all of your things that you need to do to create it and just slide this out of the way. Or if your hardware will fit under there, I wonder if mine would. Let me see. Where is my hardware? Hardware. Let me see. Oh yeah, you could probably slide your hardware under there if you wanted to, but I just find it's easier to put this on and then to install your hardware and your sliders and everything. So that'll be homework to finish up that crossbody strap. Next, what we're going to do is we're moving on to page 4, construct the handle grip. Again, that is optional depending if you want to have the handle grip or not. Of course, Riley wants all of the bells and whistles, so I'll be showing you how to do that. So let me put this away and then we will get that going. Okay, so now we're going to work on the handle grips. So we're going to lay them both up like so. Now I have my hook and loop tape. I hate this stuff so much. I'm going to pull them apart. And I'm actually going to put a little bit of double-sided tape on the back to help hold it in place while we sew it. You can decide if you want to do that or not. You may have some sticky stuff already. So on the back side. Now we are on page 4, step 1 of the construct the handle grip section. Now you will see in step 1, we have a measurement. We want to measure that, draw a line measuring one in from the left hand side of one and one from the right hand side of the other. So I'm going to draw that in here. Is that straight? I didn't cut this baby very straight, did I? That's okay. There we go. So one from the right side and the other one from the left side. Oops, I think I did that one too big. Yeah, I did. Okay. Make sure you double check that measurement. And we want to find the center mark as well. So that is right about, again, I can't give you the measurements. You'll have to find where that center is. Just kind of use my ruler to make it nice and centered right about there, I believe. Okay. So that's my center mark and my center mark. These ones you can fold it in half to find your center marks. Or use your mat because we know what our measurements were. Here's my center of that one. Okay. And then what we want to do, oh, come on, tape. Extend this over this way, and on this side to the left of the line, you want to stick that down nice and centered. And same with this one, but we're going to the right of the line. And then we can go ahead and we can stitch all the way around these to hold those in place. Just make sure you backstitch well. So all the way around these. It's one done. Hey, Robin, ran out of bobbin. Ah, okay. Ran out of bobbin. Better there than on some top stitching. I've got some partial bobbins in this color, and that's what I'm working with to use them up. Okay. Do it again. Look at this mess back here of all these threads that got caught. Oh my goodness. It's okay. Clean her all. All right. Okay, so that's what that looks like. So on both of these, let's quickly snip our all four side centers. Just little snips. No, I see here, this one I didn't cut my curve very good, so I'll just fix that now. Okay, and the opposite side as well. This is just going to help match them up perfectly when we go to sew these together. And that one, I didn't cut that curve very well either. Okay. So this class is a lot of prep work. So I find that next class we will end up doing much of our, should have all of our exterior pieces made, and then it's just assembling them and then working on the linings. Okay, so the side that has the softer tape, what we want to do is I'm going to take my chalk and I'm just going to draw my center lines here. Oops, that's not very center, Brandy. Let's fix that. There we go. Okay. I'm going to go this way as well as this way. And the reason I'm doing it this way as well is we want to put, if you look in step 2 on page 4 of constructing the handle grip, we want to do a little slit parallel to this. So find out what that measurement is. I'm going to draw the line like so. I know this seems weird, but it's going to work. So there's that, and I'm going to just cut my slit right there. That is going to be our turning hole for this. So it's not a very big turning hole if you are using a vinyl. Next, what we want to do is we want to situate these in a way that when they are right sides together, we have tape on either side. So if you kind of situate them like this, and you can see we have one on this side, one on this side. That's what we want. And then you can go ahead and put those right sides together and clip this all the way around. All the way around. Because we're going to turn through there, we don't need to leave any openings on the sides. And then we're going to sew all the way around with the pattern seam allowance. So once again, the seam allowance in the pattern. Come on, threads. There we go. Make sure to backstitch all the way around. I'm going to hand crank my corners just so I get nice corners again. More control. My machine goes so fast. There we go. Oops, that one a little wide. That's okay. Done. Okay, so once that's done, we need to grab our pinking shears again, and we're going to trim up that seam allowance to reduce that bulk all the way around. Definitely wouldn't want to do these with a thicker vinyl because this is going to be fun to turn. I can already tell. And I'm using a relatively thin vinyl. So again, the pattern was written for cottons, and I like to push the limits because I love this one in vinyl. Okay. And then you can go ahead and turn it through. This will be fun. This little slit. Oh, it's not too bad. Could be worse. I should be making Riley do all this turning for me. It's actually not bad at all. Not bad. Push up all those corners. And it's nice because your fingers can reach right into all the corners. It's not a huge piece. So you can, if you have small hands like me anyways. I have teeny tiny hands, so they fit in this opening pretty good. Actually wasn't bad at all. Poke out those corners a little better. It ripped a little bit there. That's okay. It's all going to be enclosed. You'll see why here momentarily. It's fine. Okay, so this is the wrong side and this is the right side. So what we're going to do is we are going to go and we are going to top stitch all the way around this. Pull out that corner a little more. Did I not sew that corner as crisp as I wanted to? That's okay. And I like to just roll the seam in between my fingers and then kind of hold the seam in place. With this, if you've used cotton, you can definitely press this. Just make sure you don't melt your hook and loop tape here. Okay, so let's go top stitch that. Okay, make sure to back stitch. Notice my tension on both sides. I can tighten it up slightly. Looks good. She's lovely. All right, so this is what that looks like. Now what I like to do is right where the slit is, I'm just going to take some double-sided tape and just put it right down the middle of that slit. This is also going to help us attach and hold this in place. We will not be sewing through this double-sided tape, so if your machine is sensitive to it, you don't need to worry about it. Okay, now what we want to do is take one of our handle pieces, so whether you have done it in vinyl or webbing like me, so I'm just going to fold it in half and I want to find that center and mark it. Where is my pen? Can I see that? Of course not. You want to make sure it's something removable. Let's find the center. Okay, and of course, my center marks have disappeared on this. So I'm just going to kind of fold it in half. Just get an idea where the center is, which is right about there. Now what we want to do is we want to lay this nice and centered. So we want to make sure we have even on top and even on bottom. Right there. Oh, I'm so close. A little bit further up. Very close. Let's try there. Let's kind of just double check. Oh, I went too far. So I'm just kind of eyeballing it. You could probably do some measurements to figure out where it goes. The way you'll know is when you fold this over, it'll click together good, which mine does. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we are going to take this to the machine and we are going to top stitch, and we're going to make sure that our bobbin, actually, do you know what? Because I think I'd rather top stitch from this side. So I am actually going to draw my top stitching lines within 1/8 of an inch of where the webbing is sitting, so I can top stitch through my right side. Now you can just top stitch through the wrong side as well, but I just find that my bobbin will look nicer on this side. So I got my tape holding that webbing in place. Okay, so we're going to top stitch along here, here, and here. And what that really is just kind of following the lines of this all the way around there, forming a box. All right. Make sure your webbing isn't twisted. I'm going to start it right on the side here, right off the butt. So I'm just following my top stitching line down this side as well. Or you could go just inside. I'm actually going to go just inside of that top stitching line, just so it's a little more decorative. So I have 2 lines of top stitching right where the webbing meets. Make sure back stitch. So I'm making sure I'm catching my webbing underneath. Again, you can do it from the other direction. I just know that I want my good side of my stitching to be on this side because it's what shows. But you can do whatever you like. Just make sure you're definitely catching that webbing in that top stitching. And that closes up that opening in the middle as well. We're sewing over top of it. It's lovely. All these stray threads stick in everything. I'm just going to burn my threads a little here. Make sure everything stays in place. Perfect. All right, so that's what that looks like. You see top stitching looks nice there. And they fold over on each other nicely. Put this aside for now. So as you can tell, today we're working on all the panels that have some sort of strap or webbing. So what we're going to do now is I'm going to do a one side panel with you, and then you are going to do the other side panel for homework. So you want to find your centers of this first off. So the easiest way, because it's rounded, is to actually lay down your pattern piece and mark those centers. Because it's sometimes hard to cut a perfect circle. And then what I'm going to do is just fold, because I know that mark will go away. I'm going to fold where that mark is, and I will make my little snip for it to be centered. Then I know it won't wash away. Okay, I'm going to double check that that is indeed centered. And I think we're good. Okay, so next what we want to do, so we are on page 4, step 1. I'm going to burn the ends of my webbing here. And again, you can always do this with, you can make vinyl straps if you prefer as well. I'm going to make a mark as per the pattern in step 1 with my chalk. I'm also going to take a little bit of double-sided tape, and it just is going to help me hold things in place right along the wrong side of the short end, close to that mark that we just made, like so. Then we're going to take our D-ring, we're going to slide it on, and we're going to fold it over at that mark that we made. And then use that tape to help hold that in place, like so. Okay. Next, what we want to do, and again, I'm going to use more double-sided tape just because I have vinyl and I can't put any pins in there. So again, we will not sew through this hardly at all. So we're going to put it down the middle. Just like so. And then make sure this is nice and straight. We want to put this down nice and straight, like so. So as centered as you possibly can. So I'm using the center of my webbing kind of as a guide where I mark those centers to get this nice and centered. Just like so. And then you can definitely measure to make sure you are centered. And I am good. Now what we're going to do is we are going to top stitch all the way up here. We're going to put on a zipper foot so we can get nice and close to the hardware and down. And then we're going to go back in and we're going to sew a box there with an X through it. And that's going to help secure that. Mainly because, I mean, you can put rivets in here, but sometimes seatbelt webbing and rivets just aren't friends. So I'm just going to do really good stitching, I think. Okay, so I'm going to quickly check my bobbin just because I am working with a partial bobbin. Okay, I should be good. And we want to change into, which one is it? I'm going to use my left zipper foot because I can get nice and close to the hardware with that. Or if you have one of those, what are they called? Minimalist foots? That's not it. You know what I mean. Something you can get nice and close to the hardware with. All right. Top stitch up this. nice and close to that hardware. And this is where you'll see how nicely this left zipper foot goes against that hardware. So you get nice and close. I'm going to grab a scrap of vinyl to put under my walking foot to protect my hardware and go down the other side. Okay, and I didn't mark this, but I'm just going to eyeball it. I'm going to do a box. So I'm going back up here. It's about a 1-inch box or so. I'm going to start right in my stitching here. You do a box, and then I'm going to go in and do a cross as well. Make sure you backstitch well. And this is because will help strengthen, because we're going over our old stitches as well, strengthen this for carrying the weight of our crossbody strap. Okay, I'm going to go across. And I'm going to do my X right here. Across the bottom. That was Riley coming out of his room. Across this side. I can't remember if I did it double on that side. Oh well, I think it'll be fine. And go across here. I'm not the most fluid person when it comes to doing this X. I just know the more stitching is better. It's going to hold it together. And we'll go down this side because I only stitched down this side once. And again, oops, you could put some rivets in there as well, but I don't know. I've never used this webbing before, so I don't know if it would fray or whatever, so I'm just not going to risk it. I just did the boxes. Perfect. All right. Okay, so this is what we got. Set that aside for now. Now we're going to take our pocket. So remember, I'm using the green as my lining and the brown is my exterior for the pocket. So you want to take these. So this is part of the add-on. So if you're looking at your John Duffel adding some pockets, we are on page, what is this? Page 3 of the add-on pattern. So we're going to take these, we're going to put them right sides together, and we're going to clip along the top. Then you'll do the other side for homework. And this is only if you want to put it on the slip pocket. You could decide whatever you want to do. So what we're going to do is we're going to sew through there with the seam allowance, and then at the machine we're going to turn these wrong sides together, and then we're going to top stitch along the top. So I'm going to switch back into my regular foot. I don't need the zipper foot anymore for now. Oops, that's not the right one. I'm trying to grease my machine. I don't know what I'm doing. Holy. Okay, here we go. Changing out feet really, truly does help. And it doesn't take very much time, as you can see. No time at all. And my machine being an industrial, it's a little bit more labor intensive to do that. Domestics are a lot easier, I think. Okay, so seam allowance as per the pattern. Again, I cannot give out seam allowances. And we're just going to do the next step right at the machine here. So we're going to flip these wrong sides together. And we're going to finger press the seam really, really good. Sometimes it helps to finger press the seam open first because it kind of gives it a little bit of memory. And then flip it wrong sides together. I'm going to secure with clips to help hold my vinyl in place. Again, the green is my lining in this case, and the brown is my exterior pocket. And then we're going to top stitch this. As my tension is, tighten it up a little bit, it looks like. Just like so. All right. Okay, so this is what we have now for one of our side panels. Now, this is where I am modifying it a little bit. There is, actually, no, that's not just, there is instructions for how to berth this side once we have the gusset on, but trust me, part of it is hand sewing and it's really hard to sew through this. So I'm going to show you how I modify this to bound, and this is for if you're doing the zipper pockets on the side, so you have to prepare the lining in a slightly different way. This is so much easier. This is not a hard bind at all. The main bag is berth. It's just these side pockets we're going to just bind one side. So we're not binding just yet. That'll probably be next class, but we have to prep these sides for that. So I have my lining piece here and we have the exterior piece here. We're going to do this all in one swoop. We're going to put these wrong sides together and clip in place. All the way around. Now I can see I cut my lining a little bit bigger, so I'm just going to trim that up. That's not a big deal. Usually a little more sloppy when it comes to cutting up my lining, so really need to change my blade out. Okay. So again, you're clipping these wrong sides together because this one side we will be binding in a later step. Again, I'm just going to trim up my bad cutting here. So it looks like this is fitting. My lining just seemed bigger than the rest of it. You want these to be the same size. Go. And once you have this in place, you can definitely baste it. But again, I'm going to skip a step. I'm going to do a bunch of steps all at the same time because I'm all about getting things done the most efficient way you can. Make sure this is lying nice and flat. So if you decide you don't want to bind this part, make sure you follow the instructions as to what to do. Okay, so that's what that is. So again, you can go ahead and you can baste that on if you're more comfortable doing that. But what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take my pocket piece here and I'm going to trim it up a bit because my cutting was bad there as well. I'm going to find my bottom center of this by folding it in half. I'm doing a little snip. So I can line it up with the bottom center of my exterior, like so, and just add it into those clips, and then we can baste all of these at the same time. Oops. Just make sure you're getting all the layers into the clips. Now you will find that this pocket is a little bit bigger, and that's just so it will billow. So you just make sure you match up all of the raw edges and you will be good. If that seems like it's billowing, that is just so you have room to put some stuff in there. That is exactly what we want. Okay, make sure it's all caught all around. Everything is laying flat. And then we can go ahead and we can baste all the way around that. Beep, beep, Dexter. Dog is under my feet. Make sure it was caught all the way around, and it was. We're good to go. Okay, so that is that pocket all complete. Again, do the exact same thing with the opposite side for homework. Now we are doing another pocket add-on. So that would be in your John Duffel, adding some extra pockets. We are looking at page 4. So again, I cannot give you measurements, so you do have to follow along. First thing I'm going to do is, I think this is the one I'm going to want to put my nameplate on. So I'm going to take my exterior piece, again, width is the short way and the long way down this way. So you have this laid out right. This is going to be my top. So I'm actually going to find my top and bottom centers of my exterior piece. And you can really put your nameplate anywhere you like. I just think I'm going to try it here. And we want to do it before we actually start forming this zipper pocket. So nice and centered, I am going to put it, let's see, I got to take into account the 1 3 or the seam allowance there. Okay, I'm going to measure down nice and centered 1.5 inches from the top. This is just for my placement. Again, your placement may be completely different depending on the size of your nameplate. And that is where I am going to install my nameplate. Let me grab my pen here. So just going to do that quickly. So I think it'll be really nice on this pocket. Right here. Where's my, sorry, is it the top of my head? Hopefully I've done this low enough. I apologize, my computer is going off nonstop. I'm gonna wipe away my chalk. So I washed my silver pen off just with wet ones. Okay. That is my family talking. Even though I have my computer on Do Not Disturb, my family chat always comes through in case there's something important. Now, because my prongs are so wide there and I don't want my nameplate to be moving along, I just like to take a scrap of foam and I just put it on the back of the prongs like this, and it just kind of gives something thicker for my prongs to grab onto before putting my washer on. Let's make sure that is nice and straight, which it isn't, I can tell already. I think that looks good. Hopefully I've put it on the right thing and I've left enough space. We will find out. Okay, it's good. And then I will put some duct tape on the back side of the prongs so it doesn't, I can trim off some of this foam too, wear away at the fabric that's on the back of this later on. Just protects the back side of the fabric. All right, so that's optional if you want to add that in. Okay. Next, what we want to do is we want to prepare our lining piece. So if you look on page 4 of the add-on section, number 2, you'll see that we have to trim off a little bit off the top here. So go ahead and trim that off of the lining, off of the height. So once you've done that, this one should be just slightly shorter. And mine's not. Why is that? I'll take off a little more. I must have cut it wrong. Okay. Should be slightly shorter by that amount. There we go. Perfect for the lining. Now I'm going to use double-sided tape. You can definitely use clips instead. Now I have my zipper pull here and I do not, or zipper here, and I do not have my pulls on it. So when it's right side up, you're going to flip it over, and on the right hand side, you're going to draw a 1-inch line. This is so we can put the pull on later. Trust me, this is the easiest way to do this. I got to find a pen that actually works on this. This will help us put the pull on because otherwise we're going to have to top stitch in a loop, and trust me, that is no fun. Okay, here we go. So I'm going to take my double-sided tape and I'm going to put it along this top edge. You'll also notice I have cut my zipper longer. That is what we want to do. That'll also help get it on nice and straight later on. If I turn the sound off my computer, we'll stop hearing those notifications. Okay, so tape along the top. Just like so. And then we want to take our zipper. So again, the length is going to go here. That is the side where we're going to put our pull on. We're going to take this and we're going to put it right sides together, lining this side up. So this one will be flush, but this one will be longer, and just cut it so it's a couple inches longer. Okay, just like so. Then we're going to take our lining piece. We're going to put tape along the top of it as well. You could definitely go ahead and baste that on if you prefer, but I'm using the tape as my basting agent. So again, getting two steps done in one swoop. Tell we've been busy. Look how dirty my table's getting. We're going to line this up with this side here. All the way across. And then we're going to go to put our zipper foot on, and we are going to sew across there. Then we're going to press them both away at the machine, and we're going to top stitch them wrong sides together across there. So let's go and do that. Okay, so we're going to sew this with the seam allowance in the pattern. I'm putting on my zipper foot so I can get a nice and straight seam allowance. My right zipper foot. All right. So much easier to do without that zipper pull on. And then you're going to flip these wrong sides together and top stitch, making sure they are pressed nice and tight away from the zipper teeth. Give a good finger press. I'm going to make sure it's pulled nice and tight down. So we do not want the lining to get stuck on that zipper teeth, causing it to not be able to open. That's good. And top stitch. Okay, so this is what we got. Now what we want to do is we want to, you know what? Mine slipped a little bit, but oh no, I just didn't cut it evenly. It'll be fine. So on our exterior piece here, we want to take some more double-sided tape or clips. This is going to look really funky, but just go with it. It will work. So just this exterior, we're going to bring up, and we are going to line it up with the unsewn side of the zipper tape, making sure all of our panels line up like this. So we're kind of forming this loop. Again, you can use clips here if you prefer. Okay, we're going to do the same with the opposite side and the lining. Yep, come on, tape. There we go. And we're going to bring it up and line it up on this side like so, on the wrong side. Wrong side up. Make sure everything lines up, and you're going to see we're going to form like these kind of, I don't know. We're going to go ahead and we're going to sew across there with the seam allowance. Okay, same seam allowance. Just like so. Not going to top stitch just yet. We're going to go back to the table. Okay, so this is what we got. Now we're going to do something that's going kind of off from the pattern, but trust me, it's going to make it easier. You're going to take your zipper, dun, 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 and you're going to separate it. Trust me, just go with it. It's scary, but it's going to be so much easier. Okay, so we got this tube. We have it all open. Flip it around. All right. Trust me, it is so much easier to do it this way. All right. So so we've already got this side top stitch, and we just got this side. So you want to make sure you're pressing everything away the best you can, away from the zipper teeth. And then we're going to go ahead and we're going to top stitch through this side. So again, make sure you're pulling everything nice and taut away from the zipper. So you don't want it catching on either side. And top stitch. Scary, I know, but trust me, it's just so much easier. Easier than top stitching in a tube. Let go. Check that it's away from my teeth, and it is. All right. Okay, so this is what we got. So now what we want to do is we want to put our zipper pull on. So pull this down here. Grab my fork that I use and put my zipper pull on. So that's why we drew these lines on the back, because if we line those up, then we know our zipper pull is on nice and straight. Oh, and I get it the first try. See? You can pull it on. But before we do it all the way up, we're also going to turn this right side out. Come on. There we go. Okay. So we're going to bring kind of like this. Now you can see here, I actually cut my lining too wide, but what we can do is we can trim off the excess zipper tape and the excess fabric. So I'm just going to go like this and make it match up with my exterior fabric. Like that. Again, I need a new rotary blade. Okay. Now with this laying like this, what we want to do, you want to take our, make sure we have our lining and everything like this. We're going to kind of fold it up like so. Okay. Now if you look in the pattern piece, which page are we on here? One sec. So in the add-on one on page 6, you want to make a mark that is shown in step 12 up from the zipper. I'm going to take my chalk and measure it and make that mark across here. Now this is really unique. So what we want to do, make sure you're grabbing your lining as well, making sure you're getting everything caught there, and you're going to fold it along that mark that we just made and secure with clips. Again, making sure you're catching that lining up in there as well. Want to catch everything. So my zipper isn't all the way. You don't want it to go off the side there. I want it to look as even as possible. This side here needs to come up a little bit more. Again, double check that it's all the same. So I can come up just a smidgen more. So you don't want it to be crooked. Okay, that looks good to me. Got a little bit of excess on this side as well. It's okay, so kind of press it all flat. Again, I'm just going to trim up my excess on this side as well. It's all good, doesn't have to be neat and tidy. And then take some clips and clip all the layers together like so. Same with on this side, kind of bring your zipper together there. Hold with clips. So this is creating a slip pocket in behind and a zipper pocket. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we are going to baste the sides and we're going to top stitch along the top, but do not do anything with the bottom. Put this away before I stab myself. So I'm going to start by basting up this side, top stitch across, and baste down this side. Okay, so we can change back into our regular foot. Ooh, I'm cold. It's chilly in here. Okay, so baste, top stitch and baste. Make sure your zipper here is nice when you go over it, that it stays nice and straight. Okay, a little bit more. Top stitch this top fold. Again, we're not doing anything with that bottom fold, not yet. My tension a little bit there. It's better. And then along that top, I'm going to go in with a second row of top stitching beside the first row. More for a decorative element than anything. All right, so we have a perfectly working pocket now. This is our main front panel. So I'm going to do this one with you, and then you're going to do the back panel on your own. The back panel is exactly the same, except for it will not have the pocket unless you decide you want to put in a pocket, because you could definitely do that too. So what we want to do is find our top and bottom centers. So I'm going to fold this in half and do my snips. Same with the opposite side. Make sure they're definitely even. And they are. Now, for matching this up, I find making some marks with some chalk really helps get this nice and centered. So for my center mark, to my center mark, I'm just going to draw a line of chalk, and then I'm just going to double check that it is definitely a centered line. And I am. Now on this piece here, we also want to find the center So I'm going to, okay, I know exactly where that center is right there. Make sure. Same with up here. Just making these marks with chalk are really going to help us get this aligned perfectly. Okay, now if you look on page 6, do you know what? I made a mistake. No, I didn't. That's right. Page 6, step 12. You'll see where we want to measure up from this bottom edge. So you measure up. Okay. Now on the back of this, I'm actually, because I can't pin it, I'm going to use some double-sided tape. If I can find it. It keeps walking away from me to hold it in place. Where the heck did it go? I want to use my thinner double tape. There it is. Okay. I'm going to put it along the bottom. And if your machine is sensitive to double-sided tape, just make sure you keep it out of the top stitching seam allowance along this bottom. You actually don't even have to put it on the bottom if you're going to put it on the sides. I'm putting it everywhere. Scissors. And up these raw edge sides here. Now again, I am using the tape as a basting agent. You can also baste this on, but you don't want to stitch across that bottom just yet. I guess you could. Let's see. Yeah. Okay. Take the paper off. Okay, and we are going to line up those center lines right at that line that we did up. My line doesn't look very straight though. Let me double check it. There we go. That's better. Right at that line, line up that center mark with the center mark. Stick it down. Make sure it's lined up here as well. Looks good. I'm going to double check that this is straight from the top. From up here before I stick it down. It's looking good to me. Once it looks good, stick it down and then just double check everywhere that you are definitely somewhat centered. Yep. Double check that that looks straight, and it does. And then you can go ahead and you can top stitch across this bottom. You could also baste the sides if you wanted to too. I'll probably do that. I'm going to baste down here, top stitch across the bottom, and baste up here. Baste, top stitch, and baste. All right, so we should have a functioning slip pocket as well as a zipper pocket that works, and we do. Now what we want to do is we are going to make some marks on this. So you are going to be looking on, where have I put my instructions? How do I keep losing these things? Seriously. There they are. We are back to the main pattern now, and we are on page 4, step 3. So you're going to see some measurements there. So from the left and right sides, this is in step 3. You want to draw those measurements in. So I'm going to do that like so. Draw a line nice and straight. And also from whatever it says to do down from the top, which is in the same step, and draw a line. Same with the opposite side. So again, check the measurements in the pattern. You'll be doing these exact same markings with the other side for homework. It just won't have the pocket there unless you decide that you are going to put the pocket there. And across like so. Then we're going to take our webbing for the one that does not have the handle holder on it. On the wrong side of it, I'm just going to kind of compare to where it is up there. I'm going to put some double-sided tape to help hold this in place because I can't use pins. I'm just going to kind of mark, if I have this laid here, where this cross is here, right here. Right there. And same with on the opposite side. You want to make this mark on both sides of the webbing. So easiest way for me to show you without giving away any measurements, I'm going to flip this over and do it on the opposite side. Line these up. Make a mark on the webbing and same on the opposite side. Then we have it on both sides of the webbing because we're going to need that for placement and then for stitching guide. So all the measurements are in the pattern. So make sure you check there. Okay. So on the wrong side, whichever is the wrong side for you, you're going to take some double-sided tape and down the center, you're going to put it from the bottom all the way up to just under that line down the center. Like so. Same with the opposite side. Make sure you're working with the same side, which is the wrong side. From the bottom all the way to just below that line. Okay. Take the tape off. And then what we're going to do is we're going to line this up on this side to the left of that line. Use that line to make it nice and straight. And that's also going to close up those raw edges. So this will stick all the way down to that line. Now the reason we have that line on there is because we are going to draw a box there. So I'm going to do my box so it goes to just below the second line of top stitching on the pocket. And I'm actually going to draw out my X as well, just so I have a guide for when I sew this on. Okay. Now we got to make sure that this doesn't twist at all, so it comes around, and we're going to do the same and put it down this side. So make sure your strap is not twisted and bring it down this side. Right along that line. Okay, just like that. I'm going to draw my box, lining it up with that second row of stitching on the pocket and my X. So what we're going to do is we're going to stitch up here, up, across, and back down. And then we're going to go back in and do another box with an X in the middle for both sides. Okay. So up to that top mark. Across. And down. And we're going to go back in and do that X. Again, if you trust your webbing, you can definitely go ahead and do rivets in there as well, or if you have used vinyl. But I have never used this seatbelt webbing in particular, so I'm just going to do the stitches. I'll do my box first. I'm just going over the old stitching. I'm just trying to reinforce the stitches even more because I know how heavy my son is going to carry this bag. So cross again. And finishing that cross. Come on. And then back stitch. And let's repeat with the other side of the handle. Oops, I'm still attached. This one's kind of missed right here. I'm going to just go ahead and reinforce these center sections too. I'm just worried about not him loading it up way too much. So I'm just doing another line of stitching in beside. You do whatever you're comfortable with. I'm just doing more because I'm not putting rivets in this one. And it looks kind of nice. Okay, now let's go do the other side. That looks good. Lots of reinforcement there. Okay. Other side. Okay, and then go in and I'm going to do that X again. I much prefer doing rivets over doing X's, I tell you. I'm not very good at these. These ones are turning out okay though, so this is good. Come back here. Have a good day, Riley. Your bag will be ready soon. Okay, so I'm going to go up again and just reinforce the X in there. You guys all do your X's the way you like to do your X's. There we go. Perfect. Okay, so that's 2 hours done. We filled that 2 hours up quite a bit. So this is what it looks like so far. That's not, making sure I didn't get it twisted. Got to remember, this is going to kind of fold over like this. So when it feels like the handle feels weird, it's because it will fold over. Doesn't look very big yet, but it is. So we got our zipper pocket, closing the right way, and our slip pocket. So again, homework, what you want to do is the back panel. So you can decide if you want to put another one of these pockets in your back panel. Otherwise, just go ahead and put on your straps. Finish the other side panel, as well as do your lining pockets however you want them to be done. I'm only going to do a zipper pocket. So go ahead, do your zipper pocket your favorite way of doing your zipper pocket, but make sure you leave the bottom of the zipper pocket open for closing the bag up later on. So next class is going to be a very full class. We're going to work on gussets for the side pockets and the binding of those pockets, and then starting to put together our pieces. It goes together in a very unique fashion. So yeah, if you get that stuff done for homework, we'll be set to go next week. Anyways, hope everybody's having a great summer. Coco says goodbye to everyone, and I'll see you next week.